Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, today is
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's
January 1st.
January 1st.
2024.
2024. It's a new year. We are still going. This is our 16th year of making these damn videos.
So our videos are old enough to drive is what I hear.
Oh my gosh, our videos, yeah. We've been making a lot of videos. Okay.
Wait. Real quick in the comments, tell us how you spent last night. Did you have fun? Were you here in Vegas? Were you somewhere else? No?
No. What are your real estate goals for 2024?
Okay.
Whatever they did, who cares? Real estate goals. What are your real estate goals? What do you want to accomplish this year?
Okay.
Do you want to buy a house to live in? Do you need to sell a house? Are you going to buy investment properties? What are you trying to do? Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the population boom that's probably getting ready to happen in Las Vegas. We haven't had a big population boom since the late 90s. It's just kind of been increasing. But they're projecting that here in the next 3 or 4 years, population is going to start rising substantially because of a ton of growth we have planned.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Okay, so we'll start with the first quote. This is from an article in the RJ, and then this is also some other information that we've gathered. Okay, so Clark County. Juana, what's Clark County?
Where we live. So Clark County is the southern part of Nevada, the tippy part. And this is where Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, Pahrump. Well, no, Pahrump is not county. I take that back. So it's Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson, and Boulder City.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, also known as California East, just no taxes. So you could live here. But there's a cool thing that we're going to talk about here that I think is interesting. Okay, so Clark County, adds 115 residents a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a number that will climb to 153 a day by 2026, according to UNLV Business School projections. But experts say more money and homes are needed in a region already dealing with limited water, limited housing resources to accommodate a greater influx of residents. Let's talk about, the water thing is almost, what are we doing to conserve water? Really quick, like some bullet point things.
Okay. So we are taking out our lawns and putting in desert landscaping or the artificial grass. We have limited the size of our pools. So if you're fortunate enough to have a larger pool, good for you, because everybody else that's putting in a new pool can only put in relatively small pools. What else are we doing? We have smaller lots now for our homes, so that also helps with the watering part. We have low flow toilets. We are trying to get everybody on the public sewer system, and there's money out there for that to convert from septic to sewer. And you're maybe wondering why. Well, the reason for that is that if you're on a well, they're trying to make sure that when you flush, it actually goes through the sewer and to the water reclamation plant and back out into the system. We actually basically don't use any real water except for outdoor watering, which is why we're trying to limit that. We used to have lots of beautiful fountains. We used to have lots of water features out in the city. We don't have those anymore. They've been replaced by desert landscaping. But the only water features that are left are things like the Bellagio and things that have that type of huge economic impact. But we used to have those in our communities at the entrance to a lot of communities, and we don't have those anymore. And also, if you look at our public streets, we used to have lawns lining the sidewalks. We don't have those anymore. We have desert landscaping. So almost anything that we use right now is all indoor water. The only outdoor water we use are for parks. And like I said, things like of huge economic impact to us, like the Bellagio fountains.
What about housing resources?
So housing is an interesting one. Of course, everything that you can purchase now as far as plumbing fixtures are concerned, from toilets to faucets to shower heads, they're all low flow.
No, I mean housing. We talked about how we have enough water for the people. How are we doing with the housing for all the people that are going to come?
So for the most part, we're not keeping up with it. We have put up a lot of apartments to deal with kind of the interim portion of people moving to town. But long term, as far as people owning their own homes, that's still a challenge because we have an insufficient number of homes, and we're building an insufficient number of homes to keep up with the people moving to town.
We did a thing, we just did a video where we showed the national number of shortage of homes and everything. And Las Vegas is right in the middle. We're like right at the national average for home building. The problem is we have the highest influx of people per capita of any other place. So we should be outbuilding everybody, and we're not, which is kind of an interesting thing. Okay, so another wave is just around the corner. Forecast show in 2026, the county will add 56,000 people to its population base, the most in a year since 2016. It's a lot of people, 56,000 people. We're not building. That's just in that year. That doesn't mean between now and then.
Right. And it's interesting because it depends on your data source as to what the actual number is. This is coming from the School of Business. There are other aggregates of this sort of information, anywhere from the county to private enterprises that have different numbers. But regardless of which numbers you're using, the point is we have a lot of people coming.
I think those were net numbers because I remember seeing 70 to 80,000 people a year coming in here. Okay. And higher per day numbers. We were already up in the 150, 160, not 115s.
Right.
So that may be net people. Okay, one of the things people really like about Nevada is the fact that we don't have an income tax here. Said Guy Hobbs, managing director at Hobbs, Ong and Associates, previously chief financial officer for Clark County from 80 to 95, and we don't have an 11% income tax like California has. And by original structure, the gaming element was intended to supplant the need for something like an income tax. So the revenue from gaming tax, which is formidable, goes to the state's budget, right?
Mm-hmm. And especially this year and last year, the revenue from gaming has been off the charts. They've set multiple records.
Multiple records. All right. We're going to get through these and we're going to show some pretty cool. We're going to talk about the stuff that's getting ready to come here that I think is going to make a big deal for Las Vegas. Okay. Hobbs said the tough economic times forced people to make big decisions, such as moving to another state. And right now, Nevada is proving to be a financially viable alternative for Californians dealing with the high cost of living and housing during the most recent wave. Now, this was the 2020, 2021 wave where I think almost everybody that came here was from California.
Right.
Right? And these people are, they went to other places too, but they came to Las Vegas because we're near California.
Right. We're near Southern California, which is a huge draw for people, both because maybe they still have family there, so they're still close to family, or maybe their workplace is in SoCal, so it's not a huge leap for them to go back and forth depending on how often they have to be in their physical location for work.
I actually had a friend who was a professor at the business school at USC, and he used to fly back and forth.
Right.
He would fly down because it was cheaper to fly back and forth than buy a house down there and live down there.
Right.
Okay? All right. A primary motivation for relocation is employment opportunity. So I understand and respect that their working assumption that more jobs will lead to more population, he said. So, Juana, let's talk about some of what have we added recently that has added a whole ton of jobs? Well,
so we've added, we added the Durango Station Casino.
Durango Station, we went there and checked it out.
Right.
Okay.
Fontainebleau,
that's a big thing.
Right.
A couple years ago, Resorts World.
Right, Resorts World.
And we had the stadium not too long ago.
Stadium, yep. So we have all kinds of big things coming down the pike. Of course, we had the Formula One here not that long ago. And if you're thinking those are temporary jobs, some were and some weren't. So that's definitely added to our economy as well. But then we've got some things coming up, right? We have an MBA team coming up. So with them comes a lot of jobs. Ahead of that, right? Because you have to get ready for that. One of the things that we're going to be doing is tearing down the Tropicana Casino. And then we're going to be building the ball field there. So
I'm going to put up the picture right now while Wanda talks. This is pretty cool.
Right.
This is obviously a rendition. This did not use cameras that are in the future.
Right. So that's going to mean a lot of jobs, construction jobs, and everything that goes with supporting all of that. To take down the casino and the hotel, and then put up the new venue, and then of course we just had the Sphere open up not that long ago,
Yes.
and that that project was huge, and even though the building of it has ended, like I said, we do have other things going on as far as building, so a lot of those jobs have remained in the area. And, these people are flexible. So, there's opportunities in the area. So maybe some of the tech workers, because of course there were a lot of tech workers involved with building the Sphere because it is a technological marvel. So a lot of them maybe have stuck around. We do have a pretty vibrant tech scene here in Las Vegas. So a lot of them, I'm sure, have stuck around and have found other jobs or have started new companies.
One of the interesting things is that the stadium we built, Allegiant Stadium, for the Raiders, that they're using it so the Pac-12 has had their championships, I think now 3 years in a row. The Mountain West Conference just had their championship. I think they had them like a day apart. I think you had one on like Saturday, one on Sunday. There's a bowl game that they've moved in there. The Super Bowl, do you know what that is?
That minor event?
Something is going to be happening here in Vegas, Super Bowl in Vegas. So when they build these stadiums, they do stuff here. I expect that this baseball stadium not only will get the A's, but I suspect that the other teams will want to come here for games off, like not on their own stadium.
Right.
And you probably say, why would they do that? Because they always like playing at home. They make more money. But I think this is an interesting, if you're going to go anywhere and play, you would want to come here.
Well, so remember, a lot of them do want to come here because some of those tax structures, depending on where they're located, they may have a reduced tax rate when they play here, depending on how their structure is set up.
Okay, so imagine this. What one is talking about is it's called the jock tax. So the way it works is, say you play for the Kansas City Royals. I got to apologize. I don't follow baseball. I have a cousin who plays professional baseball. He's really good. If I said his name, you would know him. But I don't really follow the game. Oh, let's just use the Yankees. Let's say the Yankees went to California and played a game. California is going to assess them a tax, which they can do legally for working in the state. You're working in our state. It's called, and they assess them. They have to pay a tax on working there. Imagine if you were playing the Padres or Dodgers, which I'm pretty sure is still in California, and that they came into Vegas to play because the Yankees said, hey, we'll give you another $1 million if you'll just play the game over here in Vegas. All their fans can come in and watch the game, and then they can just play it in Vegas instead of playing at home maybe. Who knows? But I think that's sort of an interesting thing that could happen. It's going to be a super high-end stadium, just like the Allegiant Stadium. This will be the best in the world.
Right. And then we have other sporting franchises coming to town. There's talk of us having a soccer team coming. So all kinds of things going on there. And then of course we have other things. We have other new casinos slated to go up. All kinds of projects, because Vegas is really good about building and reinventing. There's talk of imploding the Mirage and putting up something new. There's talk of doing the same thing with Treasure Island. So these are properties that are now, at the time, they were the most exciting properties on the Strip, but now that they're getting older, so there's talk of replacing those. So every time we do that, there are a lot of construction jobs and other jobs that go with that, and that brings in a lot of people. And sometimes people come and they stay.
Okay. Can I read
You can read anything you
about the train?
We're going to talk about the train.
Okay. I'm going to put up this picture of the train, and then I'm going to read this this quote from the article.
Okay.
Brightline West, which Brightline is actually a train company. They actually exist, and they have train lines in the U.S. They're a private company. They're not a government company. Recently cleared a major hurdle as it was awarded $3 billion in federal funds for its planned $12 billion Las Vegas to Los Angeles high-speed rail system. Expected to start service in 2027. That's 3 years from now. It's 2024. Plans for a $10 billion casino resort at Las Vegas Boulevard and Blue Diamond Road next to the station are ongoing. That project could be the most expensive development ever built in the city. It's called the Oak View Group Project. That's not what they would call it. They would probably give it a really cool name. Would feature a 2,000 room resort, a 20,000 seat NBA ready arena, And the latest reports are the company hopes to break ground in 2024. I think that's pretty interesting, that we are going to get this high-speed train. It's going to connect SoCal. I-15 can absolutely not accommodate the traffic. And there's a lot of people who don't come here because you have to drive and then you got to park a car. Most of the casinos are pay now, so now you're having to pay to park a car.
I mean, there are times when it's more expensive to park the car at the casino than what you're paying for the room. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think this is pretty cool. You know, when they first talked about this, it was only going to go from like Victorville, and it was going to go way outside of the town, and everyone said that's dumb, but it's basically going right just south of the airport by a couple miles.
Right, and because the city is definitely spreading south as well, and because they're going to have this this great hotel and this great property, it'll all sort of work, right? Because now people are not going to be dropped off way outside of town. They will be on the edge of town, but it will be in town. They'll be able to access the rest of the strip through all kinds of transportation methods, including, of course, Uber and Lyft. And I'm sure that they'll have shuttles going to the rest of the strip because it makes sense. So it'll be really interesting to see how that develops. What makes me wonder is by the time this gets completed, will Las Vegas Boulevard be pedestrian and public transit only? Will they still allow private cars on Las Vegas Boulevard and on the strip section? I think it'll be interesting to see because depending on how much traffic there is with shuttles and that sort of thing, they may entertain that. I mean, there's been talk for a long time of making a portion of the strip pedestrian only. So we'll have to wait and see if that's something that actually all these projects kind of bring forward again.
They have talked about making Times Square and Midtown Manhattan commercial vehicles only, no private vehicles.
Right.
And I mean, they've never done it, right? So who knows? Because if you've ever tried to drive around, if you've ever tried to cross Manhattan at like 50th Street or 42nd Street on Friday at 7 p.m., you can forget it, right? Everyone's coming in to see shows, to go to dinner. It's an absolute mess. You almost need to take the train. One thing we have interesting here in Vegas is that we are growing even right now at 3 times the national average. So we're growing faster, and I think that if we, they build the train and, that's 3 years away. And of course, we're going to have a baseball stadium and an NBA team is coming. The original plan for the NBA team was we were going to get an expansion team, but Marion Adelson just purchased the Dallas Mavericks, like a majority stake in the Mavericks. She bought it for like a couple $billion. So I don't know if she's going to leave them in Dallas or she's going to say, hey, I already own a team. Why don't we just use my team? Just like we took the A's, we took the Raiders. Could we take another team? What can we take?
Right, that's a possibility. And then, of course, we have a lot of people from SoCal that are in the entertainment industry, and they're interested in having a greater film industry here in Vegas. And so there's talk of a studio here that would bring in more people, that would bring in more jobs. A lot of creativity would be here. So it'd be really interesting. I mean, I think it's a very exciting time for Vegas. We do recognize that a significant portion of our growth is retirees, right? Baby boomers, we talk about them a lot. So we do recognize that a significant number of our population growth is these people. And here's what's really good about these people. First of all, they are coming with money in their pockets, and they tend to spend it. The other nice thing is that they very rarely take jobs because they are retired or they're in the process of retiring. So while they come into town and they bring money into town, they don't necessarily take up jobs, which is good for the other people coming to town. So it's a nice thing. They do put additional pressure on our medical resources, but they don't put pressure on our school system. So, it's a little give and take.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting dynamic that we've got going on. Like I said, I think it's a really exciting time for Vegas. I think the next 20 years in Vegas are going to be very transformative for the city in so many different ways. I think the last 5 years have been huge. I mean, we've gotten a medical school, we've gotten new properties, we've completely reinvented ourselves as far as industry. We have a booming tech industry, which we didn't have before. So all kinds of things have happened over the last 5 years or so. I think the next 20 years are very promising.
I agree.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to great 2024.
Yes.
I think it's going to be, we might have a mild recession nationally, but Vegas won't. Remember, a recession doesn't mean everywhere. It just means certain sectors of the U.S., either certain parts of the U.S. or certain industries in the U.S. are down. I think in Vegas because people are still going to come here.
Right.
Remember 2020 when, there was a ton of unemployment. We were the number one destination for people flying. More people flew to Vegas, and I mean connecting traffic. It's a destination than any other U.S. city in 2020.
Right, and even when there's a recession in other parts of the country, people tend to want to come here either to get away from whatever's happening where they are, or to relocate, hoping for a better life. So Vegas tends to do really well in recessions compared to the rest of the country. We've been very fortunate that way.
Yep.
All right. So what do you think about Vegas reinventing itself all the time and all the new projects coming to Vegas? I know it's a lot of growth. I know it's going to be a lot more traffic. I know it's a lot more pressure on our resources, including our water. It's going to have an impact on our air quality, on all kinds of things. So leave us your real estate related comments. We welcome them. Please remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video. Like it, please like it. Share the video and help us grow the channel. Give Todd a compliment for his attire. He looks very nice. And
I want to thank one of our users, or one of our, not users, but one of the viewers. We have a startup, so those people are users, people that use our real estate app. Put us in touch with another podcaster, another YouTuber. So we potentially are going to appear on a channel that has a lot more viewers.
Cool.
To talk about real estate.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we thank you for connecting us. We appreciate you being part of our YouTube family, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.